We're on.
Okay, great. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Thurston County Board of County Commissioners. Commissioners check-in for Monday, October 28, 2024. It is 2:03 p.m. My name is Ty Menser, Chair of the Board. Commissioner and Wayne Fournier, Vice Chair in the boardroom with Commissioner Emily Klaus, Commissioner Carolina Mejia, and Commissioner Gary Edwards present. We have County Manager Leonard Hernandez. I saw Assistant County Manager Rob Gelder. And public virtual attendance is available on our YouTube channel. We have just our two standing check-in items. First is reports on external boards, commissions, meetings, and I'll go to Commissioner Fournier if you have one.
No, I don't necessarily have a report, but tomorrow is like a full day meeting for the Wash State Jail Modernization Task Force that's being done by the Ruckle House group, and I'm the Western Washington rep. It's in SeaTac. So I will be up there all day. I really can't miss it because it's probably one of only 2 or 3 where they'll be in person. And this is the first one. So I will be there attending that.
Perfect. Okay. Commissioner Klaus?
I don't have any external board updates.
Okay. Commissioner Mejia?
Sorry, there was quite a bit. So Law Library Board just attended this afternoon. I guess I'll fill in the board that they're planning to do a kiosk and at the Resource Hub, at the main campus, and at Family Juvenile Court. Basically, the site kiosks are, they'll have access to Westlaw, but it'll also be an opportunity for members of the public to have a more broad access, kind of like the libraries do. So that's very exciting that that's happening. I attended the County Road Administration Board. I guess in terms of funding, I'll say that we did put in for Morris Road while it did not get in for this kind of midterm. Because Tilly Road is receiving basically all that we can for this biennium. Morris Road will get funding in the next biennium. So Tilly Road did get the rest of the 1.6 million. So that with the County Road Administration Board, I have to get a couple of clarifications, but there is some concern in regards to our county road fund, and it's something that CRAB is working with the state auditor as well as the state treasurer and the AG's office. It's something that we might have to go up for a legislative fix. WASAC's been made aware of this, and so once I get more details on kind of the impact that we would get in Thurston County, I'll let you know. But there's just a lot of concerns because we might be losing funding on that end. So that was kind of a topic of discussion, but not necessarily sure on what the whole impact would entail. Attended BHASO. Don't have really anything to report on that for now. And then attended the Regional Housing Council, and we had a presentation for mold and moisture in housing. And there was kind of a discussion on kind of the next steps and where this kind of fell on their items of moving forward. And so the agreement was forming, basically touching base with our local jurisdictions here, seeing if there was an interest. I thought it would be best connected, this topic specifically, with the Board of Health. And it would be something, and I'm looking at Commissioner Menser since we're both on the policy subcommittee. As we're talking about those housing issues and how they relate to the Board of Health, I thought maybe this might be an area where we might actually, there's a lot of congruency there, especially with, mold and moisture in homes and the health impacts that has on individuals. And so, yeah, that's kind of my list.
Okay. Commissioner Edward, or any questions for Commissioner Mejia?
I have a comment
Yes.
on the mold
Go ahead.
presentation. I also thought that that was a really informative presentation, the mold and moisture one. I was going to give an update that the Board of Health subcommittees, I believe, are canceled. I know that the data and education ones are canceled. I don't know about the policy one, but just because you mentioned that connection, I thought it was a good connection, but I'm not sure. I think that the Board of Health subcommittees are going to reconvene early next year. But I'm also really interested in like,
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Was that for me, Ty?
No, Commissioner Klaus was finishing up.
yeah, that was all.
Okay, yeah, I can tell you the policy committee, subcommittee was also canceled, and my understanding is the same as yours, that there's a staffing issue that will hopefully be resolved early next year. Commissioner Edwards?
Yes, just a quick follow-up with Commissioner Mejia. Did that have something to do with not charging the right rate for, I don't know, road runoff square footage or something like that? Was that what you were referring to?
For County Road
Yeah,
Administration Board,
yeah. Was that?
uh,
Yeah.
I'm not specifically sure.
Okay.
They didn't really expand on it much, just that there would be, they're having discussions with the, state treasurer's office about kind of the impacts.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I guess I just wanted to thank staff for last Friday that they put on that potluck and for lunch, and you know, everybody puts a lot of effort into it. I think somebody won the award, but I wasn't going to call anybody out on it. Anyway, no, I think I'll give my report about boards and commissions tomorrow at our regular meeting, I guess. Nothing of substance that anybody needs to be aware of. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Edwards was at the Heritage Day and gave a really, reminded me, because you thank staff, and you also thank staff as we all did, for the great job with the Thurston County Heritage Day on Saturday. And Commissioner Edwards gave the presentation of the whatever they call it, Heritage Achievement Award to former Chief Justice Gary Alexander, and that was really cool because you have a long history with Judge Alexander, and I've met him a couple of times, but I would have never been able to fill your shoes presenting that award. So thank you for doing that. And the staff did well. And then what we had this year that we've never had before is like all the groups that receive, or I don't know if it's all, but many of the groups that receive our heritage funding grants had tables and gave a little presentation on what they do, what programs they do, and how they use the funding that the county provided. So that was very useful and had never been done before to my knowledge. So hope we continue that tradition. It was pretty well attended, and everybody stayed. I mean, it was like a 4-hour event, but Dr. Thelma Jackson gave a keynote address. She's always a good speaker. We had Sandra Kroll, who wrote the book, Thurston County Prairies, Forests, and I forget the name of it.
Streams or something like that.
Yeah. But she gave basically a kind of a little history overview of different watershed moments that changed Thurston County history. So anyway, that was really good. The only thing I was going to report on that might be of interest to the board was today's WASAC virtual assembly was about solid waste funding. There's a task force that's going to present stuff at the convention or the conference next month. They gave kind of a preview of what they intend to present, which is that the basic idea is that, and our Jeff Bickford from our staff was there, so if we have more detailed questions, we can ask him. But basically, they were just going over the fact that a lot of state legal changes, which are good from an environmental standpoint, might have the unintended consequence of reducing revenue streams for solid wastes. For example, when you do a food waste program and you divert, half of the food waste from the landfill, or you change rules about composting and different things that can, the extended producer responsibility bills would hurt some counties and help others. So there could be, you know, there could be impacts as you know, as law. It's an interrelated system. So when you make changes in one place, there are sometimes impacts in other places. So WASAC's trying to get out ahead of that and basically look at the funding sources for solid waste responsibilities that are more stable. They're looking at three different ones. One is the solid waste collection tax, which apparently is a 3.6% tax on curbside collection that we all see in our bills. That could be an extra 1%, could be done for a limited period of time, or added to sort of help with some of our responsibilities. There's something called a litter tax, and they talked about modernizing it. This is a 0.15% tax on products that contribute to litter. It sounded, I didn't quite understand this completely. It sounded like something that exists, but there could be tweaks made to it that would help us. And then the third thing is a bottle deposit system, which has apparently been discussed in recent legislative sessions, and they intend to see it discussed again. They've calculated that 1% per container would create $50 million of stable income that would grow with population. So if that's going to be discussed in the legislature, WASAC wants to make sure they're at the table to kind of advocate for, you know, what the county's needs are and how we might be considered as part of, you know, how that revenue, you know, is it needed? Yes, you know, and how would it be allocated? We'd want to be part of that conversation. So that was a pretty interesting session today, and you guys will all hear more about that. They'll have a final report and recommendations at the WASAC conference. Go ahead, Commissioner Fournier.
Yeah, that whole discussion is kind of like weirdly fascinating to me too. When we went down to the landfill, when Carolee and I went down to the landfill, their whole business model is tied into methane capture and methane production. And as you divert the food waste and things like that out of their waste stream, you know, 20 years from now, they're no longer going to be able to produce the methane that they rely on to be able to, it funds their entire county. It's like that landfill is their Boeing for that county. And yeah, as natural gas, the relationship changes. And then as, you know, methane producing biological waste is diverted from the waste stream, they're no longer going to be able to produce it. It's a wild conversation.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I really didn't, you know, so like tipping, you know, in Thurston County, this is my impression. Public Works Director might not have the same, but it's been my impression that we've had very healthy, we have a big enough county that we can adjust tipping fees, you know, without too much pain. I mean, they've gone up hardly at all in the time I've been on the board, maybe a little bit, but they, you know, they create a pretty healthy fund. But apparently there are some legal limitations as to what you can use tipping fees for, so they don't cover everything we need. And then they're just like in so many other contexts, there's a littler counties that just can't, you know, their needs are 60% of what we need, but their population to base the tipping fees on is you know, a fraction. So they cannot like realistically increase tipping fees enough to meet the, you know, the long-term needs for infrastructure and stuff the way bigger counties can do more easily. So there's that whole dynamic too about trying to you know, make things equitable across the different sizes of counties that we have in Washington. Okay, that's about all I had. Other meetings, but none of them really had any issues that I would think the board would be interested in. So that brings us to commissioner items. Do we have anything for this afternoon? Commissioner Mejia.
Sorry, I couldn't find my little icon.
I saw your name.
Just wanted to, so the Legislative Steering Committee nominations are due November 5th. And so they require a name so just wanted to make the board aware of that. If we're going to stay with the same members, then those need to be submitted by November 5th.
our nominations to the Wasac Legislative Steering Committee, which is Commissioner Fournier right now.
Yes.
And, well, I'll just throw in my 2 cents. I mean, I think those types of assignments should be at least 2-year assignments, you know, because you spend a lot of time learning about it and getting your feet wet and building relationships, unless Commissioner Fournier didn't feel like he wanted to.
I would love to continue doing it. I just got it. Depends on what happens on November 5th.
All right, right. Okay. Well, of course, but we can put a contingent, we can make a contingent submission, but is that something that's supposed to come from me as chair or the county manager or what? Who should
Yeah,
take the lead on
yeah,
that?
it should be from either you or the county manager.
Yeah, commissioners, I'm rounding up with Amy to go over those assignments, and then we can come and meet with the chair and then come meet with the full board.
Yeah, and this one's for, just because they require at the statewide, right? So this one can be done. I can shoot you over the email, Leonard and Rob.
That'd be perfect. Thanks so much.
Isn't it so? And I'll open it up to the rest of the board, but isn't it the same for board of directors? I mean, don't they like to vote on that at the November conference, the general meeting or whatever?
No, those are for Western representatives and Eastern representatives and the chair. But the county assignments, those aren't due until later.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
The county assignments we assign those and we pick somebody, but you, Commissioner Mejia, have also submitted your a nomination to be one of the board members.
Correct. I've put in for a Western rep.
Would it be appropriate for us to write a letter of recommendation or something? How does that, Rob, just let it ride?
If I may, Commissioners, just from the many years that I was involved in the WASAC process,
Yeah,
there's no opportunity for a letter of recommendation per se, because all the voting happens electronically. So you will be getting a ballot in the mail to sort of vote on a slate. The thing to remember, though, for Thurston County is that you do have because of the population, have a designated county seat as well. So if Commissioner Mejia were successful in getting one of the Western regional seats, the county would still have an opportunity for a commissioner to sit on the board as well.
I'm trying to get us more votes on the board.
Smart.
And in terms of LSC, it truly is important that it's a decision of the board because it is a county seat. One of the issues that emerged a couple of years ago was that folks would sort of self-nominate for that LSC position, and then it was difficult when that person wasn't representing the majority views of that board as a whole. So it's best that whomever represents LSC, either as the primary or the alternate, is nominated from this Board of County Commissioners.
Chair,
Yeah.
I'm with you on your recommendation and along with Commissioner Mejia as well.
Okay. Thank you. And then, so I want to make sure I understand this because I get confused. Commissioner Mejia, you're applying to be Western rep. Is this to NACO?
To WASAC, Board of Directors.
Okay, there's like another.
Yeah, so
seat?
there's the executive, right, which is the chair, the first vice chair, the second vice chair, and then there's Western region reps, Eastern region reps, and then there's county appointments based on the population.
Okay, I didn't even know about that Western and Eastern region rep. Okay, well, great. Good luck. I'll vote.
I'll see.
And then, so we don't need to deal with board of directors, but we do need to, so you're saying for whatever reason, LSC is the one that needs advance nomination from the county?
Correct.
And is there any other input from commissioners on my proposal to renominate Commissioner Fournier? I feel like you kept us informed of what was going on, and you seem to have a passion for it that that I think we need. So um, sometimes I get frustrated. I just be honest with you. Sometimes I get frustrated with those discussions. So I was on there for a couple of years, and um,
Just learning
I
about
think
the way that different counties have different issues, looking at this, kind of the same solutions and kind of like you were talking about with tipping fees. I found it fascinating to talk about, how things that we see as potential solutions mean absolutely nothing to, a county on the other side of the state and why. And so, yeah, the education's really been good.
it's really good education, and I think that the size of our county sometimes puts us in a weird, like we're just like right in the middle, upper middle, and it's sometimes not the greatest spot to be in that group that has massive county and little tiny counties. Um, okay, cool. Well, then we'll go with that, and then I'll work with the county manager to make sure that gets done. Other commissioner items. Not hearing any.
No.
Okay, so we will power on tomorrow without Vice Chair Fournier, and good luck with your meeting up in SeaTac, and I'll see everybody else tomorrow at 9. We have,
Sir Mitzer, I'm not sure.
yeah,
Commissioner,
yeah, go ahead.
did you try to say something?
Who was that for?
Oh, Commissioner Edwards, your box came on. I wasn't sure if you're.
Oh, no. I was just letting you know that I did not have anything
Gotcha.
for today. Thank you.
And we've got a couple of agendas to review tomorrow because there's a meeting, and then because of the 5th, we'll have another board meeting next week, so there'll be a little more to review tomorrow than in recent agenda settings. So if there's nothing further, we are adjourned.